Time now for Action TV.
On 3 occasions, including the 10th of January, Action TV carried exposés on the failure of the Ministry of State Resources and Enterprise Development to make inquiries based on the truths contained in this letter addressed by a competent authority at the State Paper Corporation to an Assistant Superintendent of Police on the 26th of December last year. The authority at the corporation had addressed this letter against a backdrop where 5 persons were arrested and a lorry seized by the police after they attempted to remove electric motors from the Valacheni paper factory valued at about 40 million rupees on Christmas night last year. In his letter, this official claims that the stock of electric motors was sold after a tender was called as scrap metal and unusable equipment. However, quoting from the relevant documents, Action TV pointed out that the tender had been called for the sale of scrap metal and unusable equipment in July last year. The subject minister made this clarification with regard to the revelations made by Action TV. The official in question had requested more time to remove the scrap metal, and the ministry granted a 3-month extension. It is in this time frame that the scrap metal was removed. One of the primary conditions imposed when the tenders were called for in July was that scrap metal had to be removed within 14 days. Against this backdrop, granting a grace period as requested by the official in question is a violation of the conditions of the tender. There is also a question as to how a 3-month grace period lasted until Christmas. Taking into consideration what was reported in the media, what was presented in the case filed by the police and was decided by the trade union, I have appointed an independent committee to look into this. There has been some irregularity here. Then as a ministry, we will take action to correct it. On the 2nd of this month, Action TV revealed that although the official in question's services expired on the 28th of February, he had called for tenders once again to dispose of the scrap metal. His Excellency the President has instructed me to act with transparency. From the ministry, we have stopped this newspaper advertisement. I will take the appropriate decisions.
In other local news, an event was held in Maligaon today with the participation of several representatives of the United National Party.
The executive presidency has affected the country. The executive presidency has destroyed this country. Through the executive presidential system, they said that salaries of police officers will increase. Has this pledge been fulfilled? This government is demolishing houses rather than building them. That is why this should be abolished. When they are appointed to the post, they forget the people. The majority of the people who are appointed forget to fulfill their promises.
The 203 cardinals from around the world have gathered in Vatican City to choose the next head of the Roman Catholic Church.
That's right. They will follow age-old traditions and commence the conclave or the election process of selecting the next Supreme Pontiff tomorrow.
Well, Sonali, tonight's News First Ramesh Irugal Bandara is going to take us inside the conclave to explain the procedures followed in appointing a pope.
Following the demise of a pope or the resignation of one, the College of Cardinals will gather in the Vatican in order to elect the apostolic successor of St. Peter. 115 cardinal electors will gather tomorrow morning at the St. Peter's Basilica to celebrate the Eucharist. They will then gather at the Pauline Chapel in the afternoon and proceed to the Sistine Chapel singing Veni Creator Spiritus. Once inside the chapel, the cardinals swear an oath of secrecy and swear to defend the liberty of the Holy See if elected. Thereafter, everyone except the cardinals leave the chapel and the cardinal electors are locked inside it. The election process begins thereafter. Each cardinal elector will receive a paper bearing the words, "I elect as Supreme Pontiff." Thereafter, they will write down the name of their choice. Before casting their ballots, they take another oath in Latin. On the opening day of the conclave, only one vote will take place. If a conclusive winner is not selected, a total of 4 votes will take place on a single day. A successful candidate will need to obtain a total of 77 votes this time around, or 2/3 of the votes cast, in order to be elected as the Supreme Pontiff. Following the conclusion of a vote, all ballots are collected and a coloring chemical is added to the ballots before they are burnt. Black smoke signifies the vote is unsuccessful, while white smoke signifies that a new pope has been selected. Now, a conclave can be as short as 1 day or as long as 4 months. This time around, the conclave is of special significance for the Sri Lankan Roman Catholic community, as our very own Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit is taking part in this conclave. On behalf of News First, we wish His Eminence the best of luck. Ramesh Rugal Bandara, News First. Let's get back to the news. Stand by, guys. Sports team in 3, 2, 1. Sports team on now.
Thank you, Ramesh, for that very comprehensive report. On to sports news. According to Reuters, FIFA Executive Committee member Vernon Manilal Fernando of Sri Lanka has been provisionally banned from any football activity for 90 days. Fernando has been a member of the FIFA Executive Committee since 2011 and was banned following a request by the chairman of the investigatory chamber of the Ethics Committee, Michael Garcia, and the chairman of the adjudicatory chamber of the committee, Hans Joachim Eckert. In its statement, FIFA said that the decision was taken based on the FIFA Code of Ethics in order to prevent interference with the establishment of the truth with respect to proceedings which are now in the adjudicatory chamber.
On to some cricket news now. Bangladesh skipper Mushfiqur Rahim became the first Bangladeshi to score a test double century today. Mushfiqur Rahim made these 200 runs on the 4th day of the first test against Sri Lanka at the Galle International Cricket Stadium. Bangladesh posted a first innings score of 638, which is incidentally the highest test score posted by Bangladesh. Batting in their second innings, Sri Lanka were 116 for the loss of 1 wicket at stumps today.
On day 4, the Sri Lanka team coming out. Bangladesh commenced day 4 on an overnight score of 438 for 4. The first wicket of the day was that of Mohammad Ashraful, who scored 190 runs.
Edged and taken. Nelson strikes. 4-4.
Mushfiqur Rahim scored 200 runs before he was strapped in front of the wicket off the bowling of Nuwan Kulasekara. Rahim's double century came in 321 balls, inclusive of 22 boundaries and 1 6.
Yes, 200 for Mushfiqur Rahim.
Nazir Hussain scored his maiden test century before he was caught by Kumar Sangakkara off the bowling of TM Dilshan.
To push the ball through.
Well, and with that we wrap up this edition of Primetime News. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us. I'm Nadim Majid.
I'm Sonali Wanikapaduge. Good night.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.